Did I just trip and fall into the best steal for a CD transport on the planet? Possibly. I did for sure find a badass little CD transport that looks as good as it works for under 500 bucks. In this video, I'll talk about it, and at the end, we can figure out whether this is a top contender for your setup.
Hello, mother.
I'm back. I have returned from my much needed vacation, and now I'm ready to bring you what I've always brought you, the very best in audio gear. If you're the type of person who enjoys stalking Facebook Marketplace for the best deals on a pair of vintage speakers that you really don't need, then you're in the right place, because that's all we do here. So today we're going to take a look at the SMSL PL200T, a piece of gear that I feel will be a unicorn product for most of you out there looking for a reasonably priced CD transport. I don't know if you remember, but we've been talking about CDs consistently longer than anyone on the internet, and I feel this channel has been a positive force in bringing attention back to the CD, which is why I love reviewing these little transports and players, because I'm genuinely happy that these companies are still focusing a chunk of their R&D on CD gear. The one thing we can do without here is the MQA compatibility. Nobody cares or likes MQA. And to be quite honest, I'd much rather have that segment of technology and budget focused on anything else but that. Improve the mechanism or the clock or add something else to the package. Just get rid of MQA. It has literally no value here, and more than likely never will. Now, getting past that, we can move on to the good. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The acrylic lid on top. It lets you watch the CD spin. You have no idea how important that characteristic is for the majority of people. I know it doesn't affect the quality of the sound or the performance of the playback, but it adds something irreplaceable. A physical connection to the process. Just like the vinyl cultists like watching the record spin, we like watching the CD spin. Same thing. Same reasoning, same obsession. Let's talk numbers. The measurements provided from SMSL paint a very nice picture. The THD plus N, which measures how much unwanted stuff, distortion, noise, and stuff, is added to the original signal, is 0.000006%. It's practically no audible distortion or noise. This is ultra clean performance, the kind you'd see in high-end DACs or measurement grade gear. SINAD, signal to noise and distortion ratio, this is how clean the signal is. In this case, the higher the better, and it comes in at 144.033 decibels, which is absurdly high, in a good way. Even very high-end gear typically lands in the 110 to 120 decibel range. This number means the signal is over 144 decibels cleaner than the distortion and noise floor. Basically, what's coming out is indistinguishable from perfect silence, except for the music. Jitter, which are timing errors in the digital audio, comes in at 68.43 PS. Still solid, sub 100 PS is generally considered acceptable for digital audio, and anything under 50 PS is considered excellent. We're just a little bit above that excellent line, but still in the clean, reliable range. Jitter this low is unlikely to affect audio quality in any audible way, especially if your DAC handles reclocking. If we are to believe in these numbers, well, then this thing should sound quite nice. Perfect, really. It has a small screen on the front where you can navigate through the settings. Nothing too in-depth, just the basic CD transport stuff. And it also has a remote control to be able to do the same. Around the back of the unit, there is a beautiful collection of inputs and outputs. As you know, this is a CD transport and needs an external DAC to work. So SMSL has provided several ways to get from point A to point B. My favorite is usually coax. I do have some slick coax cables to impress my friends and influence others. However, I would like to try the AES or I2S options to see if there's anything special there I'm missing out on. Perhaps I'll expand my horizons on a future video and report my findings then. It also has a USB-C input, so you can actually funnel your music from a digital device or your PC through this system. What can we say? Either it worked or it didn't, right? Well, as it stands, it worked very well. And I'm continuing to get sucked into that rabbit hole of CD transports, and I'm noticing that differences between certain CD transports just aren't all that apparent. I reviewed another CD transport a couple of months ago, the SMSL VMV T2 player, and yes, the VMV had a bit more features and was built much sturdier, and in my opinion was just designed a lot better. But if we're just talking about sound, I felt like they're strikingly similar to one another. So if the aesthetics and a few extra features aren't that important to you, and all you want is a sweet little transport, well then, I think you can honestly save yourself hundreds of dollars and go this route with the PL200T. The sound was just very nice, crisp, clean. I love the sound of CDs. I grew up with them. In my mind, I still hold on to the experience of going from cassette quality to CD quality, which was a jump so far that even almost after 40 years later, it's still ingrained in my mind. Overall, there weren't any anomalies or sounds or noises that just everything was just indistinguishable. And that's the whole thing with electronic devices like these that aren't meant to colorize the sound. These are just transports. They're meant to transport your music from point A to point B to prepare it for point C, which it did quite well. What can I say? The more I experience different transports, the more I become a little numb to them. I think it's more fun to experience CD players, in my opinion, which are just deliberately different from one another and provide a sound signature that the engineer actually designed themselves. However, it is nice to know that there's a device like this one that's going to leave your recipe alone. And it's going to play the music you want to listen to without disrupting the system and doing anything weird. You know, you rely on your system to sound a certain way. So yes, I would buy this not only because it worked as advertised, but because it checks off so many boxes. The biggest being the top loading playback. You could, watch the CD spin on top. I know it sounds stupid, but for some of us, it's a huge benefit. It's just a small, compact, it's built well little machine. It's not a plasticky, cheap crap that, sometimes you come across. It's well built. And to be honest, it's a unicorn in its own right because it's the only one of its kind that it's made its way here, aside from the VMV. Not for lack of trying. SMSL has something special here, and I hope they continue on the trajectory they're on. Alright guys, you made it to the end. All I ask is that you subscribe to the channel to help me grow, check out the Patreon to just help support the cogs and wheels turning, and definitely check out my t-shirt shop where I sell crazy stuff like this. If you enjoyed the video, please go nuts with the like button.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Don't forget to ring that bell so you're notified every time a new video is born. Thanks for watching guys, take care.